Hello, my Teaser King family. I apologize for being, well, not really late. Wizards are never late. Uh, just had something to do and started at 1 o'clock, so I took care of it, and now I am here. All right. So here, who thinks the refs fixed the game yesterday? Everybody, clearly. What terrible roughing. The Cincinnati players were being held. Hey, Nick. Eagles easy yesterday. KC game so fucking rigged. I agree. And one of our guys, they knew I got the Burrow card the other day. I think that's what it did. We had somebody, I don't remember, I think it was Ryan, say, do you think the game will be fixed? And I said, you normally don't fix a 2-point spread, but clearly it was fixed. First of all, that last play, I don't think he pushed Mahomes. I think it was a dive. It was like from soccer. He put his hand on him, which really wasn't a personal foul. They were both running. He quickly went out of bounds. He puts his hand on his back, and Mahomes does a swan dive. He didn't hit Mahomes like that. And knowing it's Mahomes, like Brady, they're, of course, going to blow the flag, which they never should have done, because now they're deciding the game. You're giving them a field goal, which you never should have. Mahomes, who is injured, is all of a sudden his foot's fine, which you question that. They didn't call fucking roughing the passer when KC pushed Burrow. Mahomes gets that call. Well, not only that, Nick, if you watch the play of the push, there's a hold. The guard tackles one of the linemen coming at Mahomes, and you see the guy laying on the ground. Where's the holding penalty? And it was the play before there was a holding penalty. They didn't call holding on Kansas City once, and all these Cincinnati guys are sitting on the ground. What the hell is that about? I thought it was ridiculous. The penalties were all on Cincinnati. Clearly, the guy who got his first sack in 100 games in the playoffs, that defensive lineman for KC, he kept landing on Burrow. That's a penalty. You cannot land on the quarterback, like put all his weight on him. And the refs didn't call anything. They were just very terrible refs. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to fix the Super Bowl. Well, it's out. Clearly, it's going to be fixed. I mean, we're not stupid. What I thought was interesting was KC throwing screens to their fast players. Might be tough for Philly to stop in first half. You don't understand. Mahomes is not going to have any time to throw the ball, because where Cincinnati's got pass rushers, Philly's got pass rushers and speed. Now, what's hard to figure is Philly. They played Daniel Jones, who's not a quarterback, and then they played Purdy for a quarter, and then John Johnson. Who the fuck is that guy? So wait a minute. You have all these other quarterbacks that are not drafted because they're too small, and you end up with John Johnson in the championship game. This is the best you could come up with. He's probably better than Trey Lance, but give me a break. Purdy, I don't know, was that a penalty when he got hurt? I mean, he hit his arm. Let's say it wasn't, but what the fuck, Purdy? It's terrible because he was hitting some passes, but once he went down, it was fucked. So very difficult to really get an edge on Philly still. I mean, they played nobody. So are they really this strong? Unfortunately, we don't know. And even with Mahomes, he's got the hurt leg, which apparently only hurt sometimes, because when he ran out of bounds at the end there, what was he thinking? He got the first down. He's fucking around with a bad ankle, staying in bounds a few more yards. What was that? That's ridiculous. I'm surprised KC didn't just go after his ankles all day. I would have went right after him. Give me the 15-yard penalty. I don't care. I'm taking this guy out of the game. So hard to bet Philly around me. Everybody betting them bumps the number to almost -4. That was the ending line. Well, I looked today. I don't really see a line yet. I was surprised on scores and odds. So when I go to scores and odds, they didn't, it was like that last week. They really didn't put it in Monday for a while. I still have yesterday's games. Yeah, see, I got the Philly finals. Yeah. See, they're not, I mean, they're still showing this. They're not showing the new line. So my line is Philly -3. Philly's the better team by far, statistically wise, but we'll figure that out. What's happening? All right. So just to put a reality check on everybody, looking like -2 Philly. Sorry, I have to jump on a meeting call. Going to Hard Show Friday. Card Show. Think we can discuss via email some tips for what I go. Where are you going? This is in New Jersey, I take it? Yeah. Well, I'll talk about it on here so you get a better scope. All right. So for you people that don't quite understand the war in the Ukraine, my girlfriend in the Ukraine says, a ballistic missile was shot down just now over my city. Somebody whistled from Spain and warned me. I'm scared. This is no joke. Well, yeah, you're in a war. A ballistic missile. Now, she lives in a small town with nothing of importance in it. And Putin's sending a ballistic missile. Now, they have the defense system that Israel has where they'll send a missile up to intercept it and blow it up. So what is a ballistic missile going in the Ukraine for? What the fuck is this idiot doing? Anyway, so I've offered to bring her here. She's got family there, so she doesn't want to leave them, but I don't know what to tell her. So I'll probably meet her soon. We went to Lisbon. I'll probably have another meet with her soon. So welcome to the world of war that we are shielded by, but very much a part of. I just wanted to send her that. So let's talk about Nick going to the show. What do you look for? You look for Mahomes cards. You look for do I look for Jalen Hurts cards? No, he's not it. He's not the it. As we talked about yesterday, the it was Anthony Davis in college or Montana or Lawrence Taylor. Those are the its. Those are the players you get. Even Aikman was not the it. Emmett was the it. Barry was the it. And that's what you want to buy is the it. Jerry Rice. Mantle obviously was the all-time it. So I wouldn't jump on Jalen Hurts. Burrow, you can still jump on, but again, until he wins the Super Bowl, he's going to not have the value, but he is the it right now. Unfortunately, with Brock Purdy getting hurt yesterday, that we don't really know because it was his first playoff. He looked pretty good completing his first few passes. Again, not conscious of the guy coming from the blitz, and then he throws and he hurts his elbow. And I read a Ric Flair tweet, and Rick goes, "I was in a plane crash. You know, why isn't he out there?" And I responded, I go, "Rick, a quarterback must be able to throw the ball. He can't throw the ball. So what are you going to do with him out there? They were better off with McCaffrey as the quarterback, not that backup Johnson they had who sucked." So let's look at the games. We had Philly 49ers was under 46.5. We teased it to 52.5. Easy winner, 31-7. as we know, both teams with good defenses. Philly holds them to 7. Now, had Purdy played, we don't know, because they got a touchdown because the backup couldn't catch the snap from center. And conveniently in the second half, he didn't play because probably because he couldn't catch the snap and gave up a touchdown. They probably were pissed off. And they said, oh, he's got a concussion. Really, the coach is like, fuck, get the fuck out of here. How do you do that in a championship game? So it would have been 14-7 with Purdy, and then maybe you get a 24-21 game, or as I predicted, 20-7, 2017 Philly. So Frisco. So it stopped Frisco from scoring, and then it gave Philly a free touchdown on the fumble just before half, when it should have been 14-7, maybe 14-10 had they had it. Hey, Greg and John, you make some money yesterday on my picks. So pretty much I have the score at 37, 20-17, and I got the game under, and it is a 38. So I did pretty good. I missed by 1. I helped it under. The Niner defense, not fair. The Philly defense, we don't know. So we still don't know who Philadelphia is. They beat Daniel Jones, and now they beat the 4th-string quarterback of Frisco. So you still don't know who Philly is. It doesn't really help you. But it was low scoring, and it was a lock. So my lock yesterday was Philly under and Cincinnati plus 7.5. We win them both. We win the lock, 27 units. This is what I mean why you need to buy the picks. You got to buy the picks because you don't know what I'm doing. You just know I gave you Cincinnati and 7.5 in a teaser, and they won. They should have won the game, but we'll get to that in a minute. So that's the lock. Now, again, Frisco gives up 16 a game, Philly 19. They're both under teams with strong defenses. Purdy, I doubt, is going to light them up, but Hurts isn't going to light them up either. So if they don't get that free touchdown on the fumble because the guy can't catch a snap back from the center, didn't get hit. So let's take a touchdown away. That gives it 24-7. Maybe it's 24-10 before half if the guy catches it because they were driving down. That's what it is. So is Philly this dominant? No. But, because they got a gift touchdown, and all Frisco could do is run the ball. So, no, they're not this dominant. But we'll see against the good quarterback. Then we get to the Cincinnati KC game. My score was 31-20. KC gets 23, so I'm dead on there. Cincy only gets 20, not 31. I missed that. Number 77 on Cincinnati. What is he doing in the pros? He was the meekest, weakest lineman I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he had no passion. He was afraid. What the fuck was this guy doing? I would have called up Ohio State and grabbed a guy now and said, hey, we need you for this game. I mean, this guy stunk. So, Casey's lineman, who cares? Smith or whatever his name is. He's not going to do anything against Kansas City. Cincinnati was getting held and tackled all the time when they were rushing Mahomes. They wouldn't call anything. I mean, it was the worst ref game I've ever seen. Cincinnati got robbed all 15 ways to Monday. Every time this big guy would tackle Burrow, it was all his weight was on it. That should have been personal fouls. If it was Rodgers or Brady, they would have been personal fouls, even Mahomes. You cannot tackle them with all your weight on them, and that's what 95 kept doing. Should have been roughing the quarterback at least 3 times. On the last drive with Kansas City, the guys were getting tackled, and they weren't calling offensive holding on the play where he ran. If you look back into the where the pocket is, there's 97 sitting on the ground. He just got tackled. No flag for holding because we got to have Mahomes. We can't call a penalty on Kansas City. It was the worst, most obvious fixed game I've ever seen in my life. There's no way that KC got what they deserved. They tackle some of the Cincinnati receivers, but then they call the pass interference on Cincinnati on that one passing play. It was a joke. and then you never call like unsportsmanlike or roughing the passer, like he was out of bounds, right? He takes a dive. Yes, the guy touched him. Is that roughing the quarterback or personal foul? No, he touches him, and Mahomes takes a dive, right? He didn't touch him that hard, but he knew if he took the dive, he'd get the penalty. It was a terrible penalty because you gave the game to KC on a penalty that wasn't a penalty. And I know people will go, well, he pushed him. No, I don't think he pushed him. I think when Mahomes felt hands on him, he immediately fell. And if you watch, he goes face first, knowing if I take a dive, I'll get the call because I'm Mahomes, and that's what he did. It was a terrible call. You cannot give the game away to Kansas City on a terrible call. Like, well, he had 2 feet out of bounds. I don't care. I don't care if he was drinking Gatorade. If the guy like goes and he touches him, there's not a penalty for touching the guy. It's a hit out of bounds. You didn't hit him. I don't know what 58 was doing. He was probably just trying to slow down because, again, you don't know if Mahomes is going to go all the way up the sidelines or if he's going out of bounds, and I blame Mahomes. Supposedly with a bad ankle, didn't look too bad to me. I don't believe it's a high ankle sprain. I think he's faking a lot to draw attention to himself. I don't think it's severe, and he clearly could not have run. And then what the fuck is he doing turning it up? If you really got a high ankle sprain, which is a broken foot, you clearly have that. You get right out of bounds. You can't even run like that, first of all. And then you get out of bounds immediately. You don't turn it upfield. Who does that with a high ankle sprain? What a bunch of bullshit. Just like Kelsey's back. Yeah, that was really bothering him. That was more bullshit. But Mahomes is not injured. That's a joke. Yeah, he limped around just to play for the camera. There's no way you do that. Hey, Bobby. Mahomes, yeah, he's the best actor taking a dive on that out-of-bounds play. I thought I was watching soccer for a minute with the dives. So I don't believe Mahomes is injured. It's probably a little sprained ankle. My foot was hurt a lot. My foot was really injured where I could not have run out of bounds like that. I couldn't have run. So there's a big difference in a real injury and a fake injury. So he's crying wolf, and I wish Cincinnati banged him a few times. If I was Cincinnati, I'd have sent a safety and said, just tackle his ankles and rip him off. I would have not let that guy finish the game. There's no way. And he's like, oh, let's just go through the pain. Yeah, bullshit. You wouldn't have done the after interview. You wouldn't have done anything. You would have been on crutches or a boot if you were really injured. So I'm not buying this Mahomes injury at all. I think it's bullshit. I think he took a dive. I think the ref should never have called the penalty because you're now deciding the game. Let the guy – they got to move the ball. And there was holding on both the plays at the end, which wasn't called. And there was on the punt return, there was an illegal block in the back and a hold, which wasn't called. So as the guy turns the corner – the guy goes like this, and the guy was pushed down, and then another guy's held. And he gets to the 50, and there's no penalties for illegal block in the back or holding. Really? But 2 guys from Cincinnati got held and blocked in the back. Why aren't we calling those? Oh, because Kansas City's got the ball. This was by far the worst fixed game, very obviously fixed. So KC got the win 23-20. I'm okay. That's why we bet teasers. I have 7.5 with Cincinnati. That was the other part of the lock. So the lock was Philly under with the 2 awesome defenses, and then I got the dog in the KC game. Like I said, I would have taken KC if they were the dog, but I like Cincinnati. I bet them early getting 7.5, and then yesterday I went to 2.5, and I told you I wasn't worried about that. So that was kind of fixed because the line went from 1.5 to 2.5 for no reason. Except for it was fixed, and then they kick a field goal at the end to actually win by 3 to cover the 2. Well, that doesn't make sense. I guess certain people knew it was fixed and bet on it. The boys from Guido and Don Corleone obviously knew the game was fixed and bet on it. So now we got Philly, KC. So what did we learn? We learned KC, Mahomes is not injured. They get away with every holding penalty in the books. They take dives. Their defense still sucks. Burrow had a very bad disadvantage. His offensive line, especially 77, was terrible. Um, he could not. He couldn't block me and you, Bobby. We could run by him. I mean, he just was very tentative, and he just let everybody get to him. And then I'm so sick of Tony Romo with, oh yeah, you could see the holding. He grabbed his shirt. Bullshit. That's not holding. How come it's not holding when they do it on Kansas City side and they throw the guy to the ground? Why isn't that holding? So many missed calls, such bad commentary. I give you a Keith Jackson, Woody Hayes, USC Notre Dame game, which was spectacular. And then you get Tony Romo and Jim Nantz, the worst broadcasting team. Why they're even broadcast? Why is Tony Romo broadcast? He knows nothing. He sounds like he knows a lot. Like he sounds like he's Joe Montana, like he won 4 Super Bowls and then to throw and how to read a defense. Tony, we watched you play. You weren't good at all. You choked in every big game. What the fuck are you talking for? It's like Matt Millen saying, yeah, this guy's going to play on Sunday, and he has no idea how to draft people. So what did we learn? We learned it should be Cincinnati, Philadelphia. We don't know who Philadelphia is yet because, again, Brock Purdy gets hurt. Should have read the blitz and got in out of it or just taken the sack. He needs to learn that. He tried to throw, and the guy gets his elbow. Probably a personal foul on that play, but okay, which killed him, and then he can't go back in. How they listen to this Joe Johnson, I blame the coach. You can't have that guy as your backup. You've got to find a better backup than that because that's the point, right? Your guy goes out because it's football and you're going to get hurt. You can't have Joe Johnson as your backup. Jesus Christ. That's as bad as the Tennessee third stringer coming in and not recognizing a blitz either. Tennessee should have been in the playoffs, even with that quarterback, Joshua Dobbs. Thank you, Bobby. But you got to be kidding me. So Burrow gets robbed here. Ryan was right. They did fix the game for Mahomes. Now you got Mahomes. Okay, I got Philly -3 against Kansas City. Philly's the A team with a 19 defense. KC's the over team with the 22 defense. I look for Philadelphia to run it down their throats. Even Frisco really had a hard time stopping the run. KC has no defense. The only player they have kind of rushes the passer. They're just going to run it down their throat. Kansas City will not be able to stop this Philadelphia run defense. Philly's going to put a lot of pressure on Mahomes, and maybe this time they'll actually injure his ankle, which apparently he's not injured, just a big freaking lie, which really pisses me off. You make it sound like he's hurt, and you're lying about it? Seriously? Oh, yeah, Mahomes is hurt. Yeah, sure he is, just like I'm hurt. So I got Philly -3. Nick says the over-under is 49, somewhere in that neighborhood. I thought I saw a 249. Got to study it, but right now, Phillies should. Now, again, we haven't seen Philly. I guess what do we take the Dallas game where Prescott? I don't know who you would compare. I got to look at their schedule, who you would compare Philly to versus, because they haven't played a quarterback, right? Frisco and the Giants don't have a quarterback. So maybe the Dallas game, they gave up 40 to Dallas somehow. How the hell did that happen? So you want to say Philly's defense is that good, but they haven't played a quarterback yet. So can't say that. All right, they lost to Dallas 40-34. They lost to New Orleans. How the fuck did they lose that? Jalen Hurts doesn't do anything. Few passes, and they're mostly running the ball. And Hurts runs a little, which is really stupid. Supposedly his shoulder's hurt. I'm doubting that also. I don't. For a guy with a hurt right shoulder, he's running way too much, and he doesn't slide. If you notice Burrow, he would slide on his. Mahomes would just run out of bounds, taunting. Anyway, so the matchup favors Philly. an A team against an over team. KC can't stop the wind. If you notice, even though KC was dominating, it was 3-0, 6-0. And then, the 13. So, KC's bad when it's 4th and 1 at the 20 and they're going for it. What the fuck is that? You kicked the field goal. You got lucky. How, first of all, Kelsey, he doesn't get off the line of scrimmage if I'm a good team. I'm taking him. I'm knocking him down at the line of scrimmage. First thing, he's not getting out. Second thing, he's not catching a pass because I'm going to double team him but I'm going to really double team him, not this soft zone they put on him. He looks for the hole. I am going to bait Mahomes and I'm going to just hide behind him and then come out and pick him. And when he wants to throw to Kelsey, you're not completing a pass to Kelsey on my defense. All right. What do? Art of war. You take away their best player, Kelsey. What the fuck is he catching any pass for? I'm sorry. He doesn't catch a pass. And then the other guy, Valdez Scantling, you're making him look like a superstar. What was that about? Okay. So first bad call is near the end of the game, and he's stopped and he reaches out. And the camera angle looks like he's on the line, so they give him the first down on a reach out. The fucking ref called him down where he was down. That's it. What did the ref miss him reaching the ball out? The ref's 3 feet away. Didn't he see that? And based on that, he called the guy short. The guy should be short. I've never seen ever where they adjust it based on the where they place the ball is where they place the ball. I've never seen them adjust it. No matter what, it's he gained to the next yard and they don't give it to him. They never adjust. That was terrible. That was part of the fix right there. You could see it. He never got there. Maybe he did, but you can't say. And if the ref didn't say, you're not giving him the 19 if the ref's calling him down at the 19 and a half. That was absolutely ridiculous. Half the marks when Cincinnati would get the ball, they didn't get the right marks. I'd see the guy there's one, the guy dove, some nobody on Cincinnati, and he dives for the first down. He gets to the 43, and the ref marks it at the 44. And he clearly dove, so it's wherever the ball landed because his knee's not hitting the ground where the mark should be. Cincinnati got so fucked on the marks. I mean, at least 10 times. Every time they'd run, he'd get to the 45, it'd be at the 46. And you're like, he got to the 45. So the refs were clearly, that's one way you're fixing the game. You're fucking the marks up all the time. They'd get a first down and it'd be 3rd and 1. No, he got a first down by 2 yards. What the fuck are you marking the ball there for? So it was just pathetic reffing. It was very obvious that they were paid off. It was very obvious it was fixed. It was just ridiculous. It's frustrating because you want an honest game. I don't care that Cincinnati lost. I won with 7.5. I had a pretty big bet on them, but I don't care. But I want a clean, honest game, and I don't know what I'm going to get in the Super Bowl. I have no idea. Do you want KC to win? Are you going to call roughing the quarterback 5 times on Philadelphia? And how many pass interferences are you going to call on Kelsey and on the other guy? Really? This is how we're going to play. So the refs are going to cheat. We can't even have the refs call a fair game. Then we need new refs, or we need a new system where it's not. But how different is it from politics, where JP Morgan fixes all the politicians? I mean, it's the same thing. Or the Chinese or Putin has the politicians in his pocket. So what are we going to do? We understand this, and this is part of the problem, right? As the U.S. is about to go down, as every country's saying, we don't want dollars because you're inflating them and they're going to be worthless. That's coming very, very soon, Bobby Bo. So I look at the Philly. If it's a straight game and not fixed, I like Philly. Their running attack should just run right through Kansas City because Kansas City can't stop anything. Their defense sucks. The only reason they were in the game is because the linemen were so bad on Cincinnati that KC could just go at them, and they were blitzing a lot because they couldn't defend. was a great play now. Cincinnati on their fourth down, throw it to Chase, and he jumps up and catches it, which is what their second touchdown was. I couldn't believe that one. That was just incredible. They should have done more of that. You should just throw Chase 10 balls and let him figure out and catch it. The fact he's double team doesn't matter because nobody can really guard him anyway. So I thought he wasn't used properly. Anyway, Cincinnati was the better team by a long shot, but they had to beat the refs, which neutralized them. So that's why I don't really buy KC here because they're really not that good. I don't see them winning. Andy Reid in big games has never shown up. Philadelphia, I just – now, again, what they did on the 49er defense, that's real. So they ran it down their throats and hurts enough, and I think Philly will score. I haven't figured out a spread yet, I figured the spread of 3, but I haven't figured out the score yet. But I figure it'll be, they're going to give Mahomes all the bullshit. Oh, roughing the passer. Oh, interference. Oh, he touched him when it was out of bounds and he took a dive. We better call that a 15-yarder. Philly's going to put heat on him that Cincinnati really didn't, which I was surprised. You've got a guy injured. Why aren't you blitzing? I'm sorry. He might be good against the blitz when healthy, but in his condition, I would have sent 6 guys the whole fucking game. And they didn't run the ball. Kansas City can't run the ball. So if you're going to pass 60 times against Philly, you're going to get killed. So I like Philly a lot in this game right off the bat. Again, if the spread's only going to be 1 or 2, Jesus Christ, you got to be kidding. What is that about? Or you're going to say, well, it's not in Philadelphia. They're only good at home. I hate that excuse. You're playing on the field. That's where the game is. That's all that matters. The receivers are okay. Devontae Smith never caught that first pass. Why didn't they review it? Another fixed game. You clearly didn't catch it, and yet they didn't stop the game to review it, which I thought that's what they do now, right? They have the instant replay review it. And then if Philly runs up to the line of scrimmage to run the play, you're supposed to stop it and say, wait, we need to review it. I'm surprised also, since the defensive guy knocked it out of his hands, that the coach for Frisco didn't call timeout to get it reviewed. What the fuck? That was a 4th down play. If you stop them there, the game's, you still have Purdy at that point. It changes the whole game around. They went 4 on 4th, didn't make it. So I did see that happen a lot where, what did we get? KC going for it on 4th. Idiotic play by Andy Reid. You don't know. This is where I argue about Mahomes being injured. If Mahomes is really injured, you're not going for it on 4th and 1. You might try to draw him outside, but you're not going for it because your quarterback can't move. He certainly moved pretty good for a guy with a high ankle sprain. Don't give me that bullshit. Totally lies. There's no way this guy's hurt. Maybe a little sprained ankle, but not a high ankle sprain where he broke his bone, which is what a high ankle sprain is. This guy sprained an ankle. Big fucking deal. We're supposed to feel bad for him. So if he's really hurt, you're not running a 4th and 1, and then he hits Kelsey for a touchdown. What is that? I mean, that's just ridiculous. So you really got to question the lying going on and the cheating going on. Really makes me disgusted. So if the game's legit, Philly is gonna kill them, in my mind, because they're not. If Mahomes is really injured, I would have put a 7-man blitz on him all game because he's not going to have time to throw it to anybody. You're covering instead of blitzing Cincinnati when a guy that really not supposed to be able to move, and you're not putting a 6-man rush on him and blitzing him and sacking him. Are you kidding me? I thought that was extremely bad coaching. So some more bad coaching. Anyway, so I like Philly prematurely in the Super Bowl. Just a matchup. They're going to run it down KC's throat. KC does not have the defense to stop them. I'm taking the better defense here, which is Philly. They can run and pat. They're more balanced. KC has no running. It's just Mahomes to Kelsey. So guess what? I would double team Kelsey. He wouldn't even get off the line of scrimmage. That's what you got to do there. So there you go. So my lock hits Frisco under and Cincinnati in 7.5. Cincinnati is such a live dog. Now 16-0 as a dog. Frisco, again, they don't cover, but here's the asterisk. The quarterback didn't play. So how do you judge them? Philly really got robbed, or Frisco really got robbed because, it should have been a good game if Purdy played. He looked good in the beginning. So that's a real tough situation. But again, so you watch a game that is fixed. It just makes it extremely difficult to watch, and at least be fair. Call the holding on Kansas City on the last play. Where was the holding when the guy throws the guy down and you call the dive by Mahomes instead of the holding call? And then on the punt, where was the push in the back? Clearly the guy got put. The guy did this, right? He's putting his hands up like, I didn't push him in the back. If I didn't even see it, if I saw a guy do that, it's pushing in the back. So the refs disappear when Kansas City has the ball. I couldn't believe the way the 40, because Purdy got hurt. And then you could have played quarterback better. I don't know why what they needed to do was play Justin Fields ball. Hike the ball to Deebo Samuel or hike the ball to McCaffrey. I would have got the receivers out. I would have played Army football. We are not throwing. We're going to line up in the wishbone like they do and just run it, because you couldn't throw it. I mean, Johnson couldn't even handle a snap. And then when Purdy had to go back in, he couldn't throw it. Get him out of there, hike the ball to McCaffrey, run your wishbone. And that was your only chance. That's what I would have done. But again, Shanahan's unprepared for any type of injury. His backup quarterback of Johnson cost him the game when he fumbled the snap. Then they go up 21-7. 14-7 is still a ball game, and the guy can't even catch a snap back. I guarantee you he was not hurt in the second half. It was like, dude, you can't catch the ball on the snap back. You're out of here. This is a championship game. But he couldn't go back to Purdy as Ric Flair wanted. Your buddy Ric Flair wanted. He did a tweet. He says, "I was in a plane crash. Why isn't Purdy going back in?" And so I go back. I go, Mr. Wu, you can't play quarterback if you can't throw. He can't throw. Like, hello. I know you don't have a lot of intelligence, Mr. Wu, but And then I keep bugging him to go to Russia and put Putin in a figure four till he surrenders, but he won't do that either. Purdy needs to retire and go buy gold and silver. I don't know about that, Bobby. I mean, you hurt his elbow. I want to watch some good silver videos later, Professor. Any new ones? Well, I thought I showed you a couple yesterday. Did you not see them? So we start off with 107, right? My guy, I showed you that yesterday. They're going to price silver and gold, which is going to be huge for silver. And there's this one, Silver Crisis, where our guy says, here we go. And the dollar's crashing, and all these countries are getting out of the dollar, which you got to understand. This is my favorite. Russian soldiers accidentally blow up their own headquarters. I love that one. You'd like this one, Bobby. I was watching this for you today. The Rock's funniest moments. You can definitely smell what he's cooking. I thought it was steaks. Then I watched this Silver Crisis. So both of these are good, Bobby, and they're just out probably a day ago. And it's much the same thing. So they're just basically saying, look out. So you got to be careful who you watch. That's why I just watch. Yeah, I like this video. LeBron ain't shit. And that's Michael Jordan saying Larry Legend's the man. I like that one. Jordan doesn't like LeBron, apparently. Latin America is coming out with their own currency, getting away from the US dollar. What the US is doing, either intentionally or unintentionally, is pissing everybody off that they don't want to get sanctioned and these high interest rates. So everybody's leaving the fat and ugly lady, and nobody's going to be in the US dollar, which apparently is the plan because you can't be this stupid. Whoever's running America, which I assume it's. But we're going to turn the. I assume it's the Chinese. Let's see. Let's see. So here, this helps you. Central banks buying gold like crazy. So you got to read and understand all this, but basically those are the two. Eric Flair has been struck by lightning, been in a plane crash, and been in a coma 6 years ago. He's still alive, getting drunk every night out here in Tampa. Yeah, he's wooing. Ask him why he's not going to Russia to figure for Putin. So those are probably the two to watch. And then that 107 from my other guy. Some friends came down from Texas over the weekend, so I kept missing class. I checked it a few times, but it showed that it just ended. Okay. Yeah, you heard Travis Kelce call some people jabronis in his post-game interview. Oh, now he's a wrestler? Well, it is fake, so I guess he would be. So he's The Rock. Is he cooking something? Now I read this and I get a little concerned. 4 robots killed 29 humans, and then if you read the thing, it says Japanese killer robots murdered 29 scientists. Elon Musk warns us about. What the fuck is that? Are we in Star Wars now? Killer robots. Huh. I don't know, Bobby. There's a lot of shit going on. Now it looks like the Israelis are getting involved with the war. Massive airstrike, 4 Israeli F-16s, fighter jets blown up for, I should say, blow up for different targets to Jenna. Because, see, in Russia and in the Ukraine, they don't see this, right? They don't, like, she wouldn't know that the Israelis are involved unless I send her this. So I try to send her this to make her feel better. So it's like that, but it doesn't matter. Putin's still fucking out of his mind. There's a lot of war going on. Anyway, so those are your 2 silver. So I went out and bought, I think I showed you this, Bobby, didn't I? The Philharmonic. That's the ouncer. This is what you need to start buying, Bobby, is like ounce gold coins, not your little silver things. This is really the banger. Then I bought 20 more ounces of silver at $27 an ounce or $540. It's going to be 2,000 an ounce. That's 40,000 I bought, and I spent 540. That's how I look at it. Do I have a doubt it's going to go up to 2,000? Absolutely not, because you can see all the everybody's getting away from the dollar. It won't be the main thing. It's gonna, people will have to run to gold and silver because they're gonna be, nobody's gonna want dollars. You'll know it's over when nobody wants dollars anymore. Okay, and that's, I saw Burger King going bankrupt. Well, probably because they charge too much for their. It's all about market, right? That's like what I talk about at the barbecue place. So if the guy's trying to sell his ribs and his market's $26 for 40, he's got to go out of business, right? Because the market won't allow it. Well, that probably what's happening with Burger King. I'll pay you $5 for a Whopper. Their costs go up to 10. Nobody's paying $10 for a Whopper. I keep going to my meat grocery store. It's a little high end, but the meats are priced fine. So I can just go in and buy meat when everything else, my Ken's dressing that I get at Meijer's is $2.99 and it's $4.99 at this grocery store. So I don't buy that shit at the grocery store. I do go buy the meat there. So I can get $4.99 a pound for 3 pounds of hamburger, which I make 9 hamburgers. Why would I go to Burger King for that? Excuse me, I got somebody at the door. Hello?
That was the wrong door.
Idiot, you can't read an address. So he had a pack. It was a mailman with a package, and it wasn't even my door because I wasn't expecting anything. Anyway, where was I at? So keep in mind, once nobody, oh, that's what I was talking about, Burger King. I thought it was I don't get it shipped. I go right to the horse's mouth. I go to the store. Did you buy some of this in silver, this Philharmonic? I know you didn't have any because this is Austrian. So you probably don't have it at your store, but you need to, I know how you like getting every different ounce of silver. So anyway, again, so that's why Burger King, why would I spend $5 on a Whopper or $7 or $8, whatever the Whopper is now, that I would do when I could go buy 3 pounds of burgers and cook it myself and have 9 hamburgers for roughly $15. So if I went to Burger King twice, it would, let's say, it cost me $15 for 2 hamburgers that aren't even are they even a quarter pound? So I can make 9 hamburgers out of 3 pounds. So it's basically a third of a pound that I made healthy and have 9 of them, which would, so look at all the savings I'm getting, which is why I cook at home a lot. Plus, I know I'm making it healthy. But why would you do that? That just is insane. So I just made a roast, Bobby. I think I told you about yesterday. During halftime, I put it on for an hour. And it was a 2.5 pound roast. It takes me an hour to cook it. And I get 5 different things. So it's like, uh, half pound, 5 half pounds is 2.5 pounds. And I eat 2 of them, and I'll have some for lunch now. And where am I going to find a roast to eat at that? It was $4.99. I was going to buy more, but my freezer's full, so I can't put any more in it. So instead of taking this shit out of my freezer and eating it, I'm leaving it in. And then when I go by, I cook it. And then my freezer's full when the shit hits the fan. But I'll be buying. Yeah, I was there. I told you Friday. Well, yeah, you didn't watch. So Friday I showed you here. I thought you were on. I usually try to wait till you're on to show things like this. So that's what I went and got. I got 20 of the silver. They're not the $35 eagle, the $27. These are not the currency, but the bullion. And then I got a half-ounce American Eagle. So that was Friday. After I heard my guy saying that they're now pricing silver and gold in Russia and the physical exchange in Russia is about to happen, I went and bought more. I got 450 ounces of silver, and I wasn't planning on getting any. I was just getting gold and saying, okay. So that was my shopping for you, Bobby. So yes, I went Friday. So we will see what happens. But once I start getting my retirement, then I'll buy more because I got a lot of money set for paying rent that I now don't have to worry about because I'll have money until the money crashes. Then this will be interesting what they do with Social Security and shit like that. I like to stack. Yeah, well, you're going to need it for food, right? And you're going to need to pay your bills. And this is not going to pay them, right? You need to get the fuck out of this. And, when it goes to zero, what are you going to do? And so you need the gold and silver. And see, there's no risk because, all right, let's say it doesn't go to zero. It's already 98% from what it used to be, right? So let's say it stays the same and all these countries are out. What are they going to do? Right? Nobody wants to trade in US dollars. Nobody wants it. The fat, ugly girl at the bar. Then what happens, Bobby? It doesn't exist if nobody wants it. This is the only money you're going to have. So what are you going to do? You're fucked. So that's really the point of it is to get out of the fiat currency. So I think I showed you this little clip from the guy. I didn't show you the two I just showed you, those 8-minute clips. I don't want to spend 8 minutes on them here, but just go watch them. And then if you have questions, bring it up. Bobby Bo, you need to catch up. I mean, because the difference is your family's going to be broken. They're going to come to you and say, give me some of that silver and gold, Bobby. You're going to have to take care of your family. That's another reason you get more of it. Or if you're not going to help them, then you need to twist their arms and say, look, I'm telling you to go buy it. If you don't, okay, whatever. And that's what you need to do. But you cannot have enough silver, especially even if it doesn't go anywhere. It's still money, and you can buy things with it. But when it goes up, that's the real kicker. Not only that, you're going to make money on it, right? I just spent $27. It's going to be worth 2,000, right? So that's the kicker. I'm not even anticipating when you buy it. You're buying it to get out of money. You're buying it to get out of this. So you're selling this to buy silver and gold. The kicker is you're going to get a lot of money because it's been priced in paper, not physical. You're going to get the physical price, which will go through the roof because Russia, China want it. So that's what you got to understand. I warn them enough, and they don't want to take metals seriously and prefer to stay in dollars. So are you showing them the videos like mine or these other guys that are explaining that the dollar's going out? Do they understand all these countries are now off the dollar and it's no longer the petrodollar, it's the yuan dollar or the petro yuan or whatever you want to call it? You got to be like, lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So here's the water, folks. Start drinking it. I don't know what else to say, but ask them why do they understand that the cash is going to zero, and they don't, because look what happened in 2008. See, this is the problem everybody does. They go, look what happened in 2008. So therefore, we're fine now. They think they're fine. This is how stupid people are. They think they're fine. The government just, are you seeing any of this on whatever national news, which I don't watch? I watch my guys on YouTube. That's where I get my information. I don't watch CNBC or Fox or any of the communist networks on TV. CNN, Communist News Network. I don't ever watch that unless I'm in a hotel in Europe, and that's the only American-speaking channel. Then I got to watch it. That's the problem with it. You've got to be very careful. And if they're listening to that garbage, they don't understand because they won't tell them. They're going to fuck everybody over. They're not going to tell anybody anything. And then boom, the dollar's worthless. And they'll all, oh, really? Oh, I didn't see the holding penalty on Kansas City, just the Cincinnati holding penalty. So it's very disappointing what to do, but you're not going to get anything just from the guy I just showed you to get. The 107 and the 2. Actually, I think they're the same from my guy, my other Alistair McLean or McLeod or whatever it is. That's the guy to listen to, but he gets into a good explanation. So you'll want to watch that. I can show it, but it's 8 minutes. And I don't really have, well, maybe the first 30 seconds would be where he kind of gets into it. Let's see.
Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks and ETFs, all commission-free. Getting started is easy.
everything, absolutely everything now is rising on a very, very sharp fall in the dollar's trade-weighted index, including gold and silver, and silver in particular. Well, both gold and silver. I mean, there's no bullion around. I mean, you'll know from your business the availability of silver coins, gold coins, small silver bars, and so on. The information I have from virtually everybody is, in your line of business, is that there's, the demand is huge, and there's just not a lot of stock around.
So if we just take that comment, and you know how I talk supply and demand. Well, if demand's huge, why isn't the price going up? It will. They can't contain it, but that's what you want is high demand. Therefore, that's the key. But you can't find it. This is what I'm warning you about, Bobby, or everybody, basically, not just Bobby, Ric Flair, and is basically the demand is huge, the price is low, but there is no inventory. So high demand and no inventory. So when you try to find it, Bobby, yeah, you can find some of these and some of the silvers I showed you, because we're just buying onesie twosies because people are selling that. This is how stupid people are now. They're selling their silver at $24 an ounce. If they were to wait 3 to 6 months, they're going to be selling it for $2,000 an ounce. And there's going to be a lot of people doing a lot of bad things to themselves for selling it now instead of waiting. But that just shows you people need money. And they're selling their gold and silver for it. That's what I'm buying. The guy doesn't. You think the guy's getting Philharmonics from Austria? No, some guy came in and sold this. And he probably gave him $1,900, and then I buy it for $2,000. That's probably what happened. Although I bought this a couple months ago, but that's what happens, right? The people. That's where he gets this from, is people selling it to him because they need money. And gold and silver, it's always worth money. The guy's always going to have it. So that's where I can buy it from, is people coming in and selling it. Now, when I was there Friday, he said it's been flooded. There's been so many people here. When I got there, it was pretty calm. I got there after the show or after the class. And when I did that, he got it. But basically, you got to go from there. So that's what happened. That's how it's available. Otherwise, there's nothing available. There's no bar. Yeah, he had a lot of Swiss those 1 ounce bars. That he had a lot of those. Not a lot of coins. Like I said, there was 2 halves, there was 2 quarters, and 2 tens, which I'm sure were all returned, and that's why I had it. It's funny. I was going through my gold, and it's like I got about 25 US, and then I got probably 15 ounces of Cougarans, and then everything else was in Maple Leafs. And then like this ounce, and I got the half ounce Kangaroo. But most of my stuff's in Cougarans, US, and mostly US and Cougarans. So I got a little worried, like, well, do we need more US? Is that going to be a problem? Demand being better for US than Cougarans, but I don't. An ounce of gold's an ounce of gold. I might lose a few dollars because it's a Cougaran versus $1, but I paid $70 less. And if it's 40,000 an ounce and I get 39.5, do I care? No. So that's how I'm looking at it. But that's why I got so many Cougarans. They're like $100 cheaper, and it's an ounce of gold. Hello. Nobody's buying this. This says it's worth 100 euros, Bobby. So it says 100 euros on the bottom right there. But I'm not buying it for the 100 euros. I'm buying it for the 2,000 euros or $2,000 that it's worth. Anyway, the US dollar's collapsing. It's going to zero. And when it collapses, everything's collapsing because everything's pegged to the dollar. Nothing's backed by gold. And this is the problem in the world right now. I don't know why Russia's at war. It certainly makes zero sense. It's expensive. Their dollar's got to be gone. They've got to have heavy inflation. What the fuck are they doing? I don't understand, but it's just not, it doesn't make any sense to me that Russia's still like ignoring the fact they're broke. And, again, once that gold price goes up, China's the king and then Russia's the queen. And, they're the two who are going to be in control. But it is funny how nobody trusts them. So Latin America's got their own currency, and the BRICS countries, all the little countries are going to have their own little money backed by gold. And China, Russia will have their money backed by gold. But you got to have it backed by something. You got to have an anchor for your money. Otherwise, it goes up like it's doing now, and it's worthless. So that's what's happening. Well, not to be kind of psychic to you, but you got to warn them a different way. I warned them enough, and they don't want to take metals seriously and prefer to stay in dollars. So you need to find. When I was coaching my daughter's softball team, little first, second, third graders, what did I do? I sat there, and I could see the girl didn't understand what I was saying. I had to try it a different way until she finally realized what I was saying. She says, okay, now I understand you. And that's what you got to do, Bobby. You have to find a different way to tell them, to show them that the light comes on, that all these countries are off of the dollar, and show them the see, they either think one of two things. Why should I buy gold and silver? It never goes up, or it doesn't matter. JP Morgan's price fixing it. They probably just see it not going up. They don't understand you got to get out of the dollar before it goes to zero. That's probably the best way to explain it to them, Bobby, is the dollar's going to zero. Like every other currency in the world has went to zero. I think that's on this video. Let's see if I can get to it.
Oh, ridiculous.
The best thing about Chime is being paid up to 2 days early. Install the Chime app
These
today.
fucking ads.
Oh, ridiculous. That's going to get broken. I mean, no doubt about it. And we've got sterling, and we saw sterling's volatility on, I think government bonds under quantitative easing, and they're underwater on those because the prices of the.
Well, there's a point he makes, the comment that 70 times fiat currencies didn't get backed by gold, and all 70 times they went to zero. So please watch this one. These two are the same. It's just on different channels. So one's on Smart Money and one's on Investor Rio. But you can see they're both like 8 minutes long. So it's the same one. So you can watch either one. My personal favorite is college football in the 70s. That was actually a real good one with Bill Fleming. Too bad he's not there anymore. But that's your thing. Russia to price silver and gold in gold grams. That's it. That's when silver goes to 2,000, because gold's going up because it's safety. People aren't stupid. People realize the money's going out, and they realize their money's attached to our money. So if you're in Europe, you're on the euro, you're dependent on the dollar. And if the dollar goes to zero, what's going to happen to the euro goes to zero. So you're fucked. So you realize your only way out, if you want to eat and pay your bills and not, live on the street, is to buy gold and silver. And if you have money, you need to buy it. And, I figured this out about a year and a half ago. I'm usually ahead of the curve. That's what I pride myself on. Again, it's action reaction. You want to inflate the money, I'm going to buy gold. I should have been buying gold since 1992 or 1994 when I got my master's, and it was all about inflation is to buy gold, silver, real assets, basically. So when you get to this point, you're gone with your house. If you own a house, you're okay. I love how they call it. They assume deflation is prices. So I was talking to a guy owns a cabinet place. So he's saying, well, we had inflation, meaning prices went up, and now we're having deflation, prices going down. And I'm like, no, that's not. I don't mean to correct you, but that's not inflation. That's not deflation. Inflation is not prices going up. It's cost. It's the dollar worthless. And as far as I know, the deflation, the dollar's still worthless. You didn't stop the money. You're calling the prices going down deflation, which it's not. The dollar goes down because of the market. If the market's 25 and you market at 30, Toyota, and then the Camry, and then you lower the Camry price to market, is not deflation. You fucked up on your price in the first place. That's what's happening. That's why your Burger King's going bankrupt, or Myers or Walmart or whatever. I don't know. But that's, if you hear companies going bankrupt, it's because they can't handle the higher costs based on the inflation. So things cost them more. And again, as I'm saying, and I'll show you my Canadian club because Bobby likes it. So if I'm making this stuff, I first find out what the market is. It's $50. Can I make it for less than 50? If it can, I get into the market. I open a business. And we call it Bobby's Classic, not Canadian Club. And then as it gets to inflation, and now the price goes over, it's now $60. The market's 50. I can't sell it for 60. That's when I get out of the market. So here I can get into the market. I can make 20%. It's a good investment to buy this low and then and then I can make money. But as the cost, my inflation costs go up because the value of the dollar is less and it costs me more to make it. But you don't assume the market's going to go up. The market doesn't go up. The market's the market. The ribs are $27. That's it. So once that happens, I then have to leave the market. So that's what's happening in Burger King, maybe Walmart, maybe Target. I don't know, but that's why these businesses are going under, because the market will not pay higher prices. So that is the critical thing. It has got nothing to do with deflation. It's not deflation. It's you priced over the market, and now you got to lower your price, and you can't make profit because you can't get the 20% out of it because your costs just went up. And had your cost been that high when you started, you wouldn't have got into the business. But your costs were lower, your costs go up, you try to pass them on. It's not going to happen because the market says I'm not paying. And it's not like I'm getting more money. My money's worth less too. Bobby, laugh out loud. Sounds like a great plan, Professor. We can even accept that. Well, that would be the only way, is you got to pay us in gold and silver. It's funny. If you talk to girls in Amsterdam, you talk to red light district girls, and you would say, well, I wouldn't accept dollars anymore. And they go, well, what would I accept? I said, should I take gold and silver? I said, that's it. If you were smart, you would take 2 ounces of silver for your services and not 50 euros. And you'll be way ahead than taking money that's worthless. So I don't know how smart the prostitutes are in Europe, but they need to start taking silver and gold and not dollars. That'll be when it really hits the fan, is when the prostitutes say no to money. No. We need. So Bobby, you want a night with me? I want one of these. God, that's funny. I did tell one girl, it says gold and silver is going away. She said, what should I take? Gold and silver? I said, absolutely. Forget taking dollars. Just take gold and silver. See, that's what the smart company does, is starts taking payments in gold and silver. Or you take the money. So I might stay in business and take a loss on this, but then all my cash that comes in, I buy gold and silver with. Really what I would do, what most of these businesses should have done, is not even go into business. Take the money that you're making and buy gold and silver with it. And if you would have done that, since what 2000, you'd be a billionaire. You'd have so much money because it's actual money. Bobby, if you would have gotten paid in gold instead of dollars, you'd be owning you'd own 5 or 6 countries by now. If you would have taken dollars, if you would have taken gold, if you would have went to the Mets and said, I want to get paid in gold, you'd be a fucking multi-billionaire at this point. And it's not even going up yet. Wait till it goes up. Because if you got paid in dollars, you know they're going to zero. So you're fucked. All these guys getting paid in dollars are all going to they think they're getting a lot of money, and the owners, they're all getting fucked unless they have gold and silver. But as you just heard, go find it. Where are you going to find gold and silver? So that's really what's happening. And, you've got to be smart, right? See, the smart guy buys the gold and silver. And the reason I keep pushing Bobby is because it's out of supply. The demand is huge, as the guy said. And I trust the guy. The demand's huge, and there isn't any around. It's not like he can wait 6 months. I'll just buy it like he's buying a pair of shoes or Cheerios. No, you can't. In 6 months, you're not going to be able to find it, and whatever you can find is not going to be $27 an ounce. And Bobby's going to hurt himself and his family because he has money that he's not using for this, and at the time comes, he's fucked. Now he's got to spend $2,000 an ounce on silver that he could have spent $27 on. And his family's going to go, Bobby, I need your help. And what's he going to do? He's going to help his family, but he doesn't have enough silver to help him. That's what he's got to. He's got to have him listen to me, or he's got to learn enough from what I tell him to how to influence his family to listen, because they're all fucked. That's the problem with it. So he's got to understand that they're all fucked. But if he waits, it's not like he can go buy it later. That I think that's the plan. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not like you're going to wait 6 months and then you're going to go buy it at $27 an ounce. If you can find it, it'll be far higher than 20. And once it goes, it ain't going to 30 and 50. It's going right up to $1,000 an ounce. And everybody's going to be surprised. I didn't know silver was worth anything. It's been kept down, and they're all in the dark of JP Morgan price fixing. Sort of like most people who watched the game yesterday who can't figure out the game was fixed, Kansas City, Cincinnati. And that play at the end, he took a dive, but most people are just clueless to that. Or they'll say, well, he didn't take a dive. He got pushed. He didn't get pushed. The guy touched his back. Okay, that's not a penalty for touching the back when they're both running out of bounds. He didn't do a vicious tackle on him, but Mahomes dove because he's faking the injury, so he's really not hurt, and he felt the thing, and he dove knowing he'd get the penalty. And it's worth it to go to the Super Bowl, but a lot of bullshit going around there, and people are just so stupid. They don't understand when they're watching a fixed game or they're watching gold and silver get price fixed. Oh, I didn't realize it was down. That's because you trusted the government that nobody trusts. So that's really what you got to do. Now, I want to play a video for you, just to change the subject, about me. Being the professor, you got to understand me, which you don't. Well, I'm sure you do to a point. Okay, so I was watching YouTube about personalities, and there's this Briggs thing that there's like 16 different types of personality. And I'm watching this and I'm going, that's me. And it's like a lot of what it is me spelled out, which I'm very hard to kind of understand sometimes because I live in a little different world than you guys live in. And I'm very psychic, which it goes into, and I get feels and things. It's a lot of judgment and intuition that people maybe not understand. So I'm going to play this, and it's about 4 minutes. There's 2 of them. I'll play one now and one later. And this is basically me.
15 signs you're an INFJ. The world world's rarest personality type. The acronym INFJ stands for introversion, intuition, feeling, and judgment. This personality type is considered to be one of the rarest of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. It makes up only about 2% of the world's population. People who have this personality type have very unique characteristics that help them stand out from other individuals. They can be incredibly mysterious and emotionally intelligent, and are sometimes referred to as the counselor or advocate.
Or professor.
Although we may think we know a lot about this personality type, it is in fact very misunderstood. So let's explore some of the main traits of the INFJ personality type and find out if you are one of them. Number 1, different wavelength. INFJs tend to feel like outsiders due to the fact that most other individuals are on a different wavelength than they are. Their dominant function is intuition. Everything. Mostly, these patterns have to do with human nature because of their secondary function, feeling, which draws them toward others. Intuition is an individual's ability to subconsciously understand something without knowing how or why they know it. Since intuition works subconsciously, it can be described as a sort of psychic ability. However, INFJs often have a difficult time trying to explain this sixth sense to other people, which often leads them feeling isolated or purely misunderstood. Number 2, want things perfect and often procrastinate. People with this personality type often deal with a constant fear of failure. They strive for perfection and strive to surpass the normal capabilities of a regular individual. This means that INFJs procrastinate a lot due to their conscious need to find absolute perfection in mostly everything, even though realistically they can do all of these things they're afraid of without even having to try so hard. With that said, INFJs have a hard time dealing with criticism because it really stands out in their minds, sometimes washing out the positive feedback they get. However, as they become more mature, they find it easier to release themselves from this need of perfection. They may allow themselves to make more mistakes or focus on their self-confidence to achieve remarkable results pertaining to their life goals. Number 3, value beauty and quality. Beauty and quality are things that an INFJ strives to find in just about everything. They simply prefer to be surrounded by sophistication and beauty. They are especially drawn to high-quality things, such as fine food, nice clothes, and anything of good craftsmanship, warmth, and charm. Most of us don't often sit next to a stranger and find ourselves telling them our biggest fears, dreams, and personal secrets. But INFJs are such charming people that it's not uncommon for a stranger to readily share such information with them. People with this personality type typically have an aura that makes others feel incredibly comfortable and at peace when they're around them. Just about everybody enjoys being in their company, and they are very good at putting people at ease. Not only are they comfortably trustworthy and charming individuals, but they are also wonderful listeners who speak in understandable terms and meet others where they are. Number 5, highly perceptive of others. INFJs are able to read other individuals very well, and they are able to understand their emotional states and motivations in seconds. On the other hand, they themselves aren't as easy to understand, and that can be difficult when you're trying to understand someone as well as they understand you. INFJs are not only very good at reading other people's emotions and feelings, they also use their intuition to dig deep below the surface of another individual's mind. They find themselves intrigued with how other people's minds work and figuring out what makes them unique in their own way. They can often easily tell when somebody is lying to them, or even when someone is lying to themselves. Number 6, absorb other people's emotions. It's common for INFJs to absorb other people's emotions and interpret them as their own feelings. You're an INFJ, the world's rarest.
So that is really good of me. I go through that all the time. As you can see here, where I explain things at a good level that people understand. That's why I'm psychic. That's why I judgment. I get along with people. I read people extremely well. That's why I'm so good at poker. And I analyze and have that sixth sense, which is why I can pick football games and play poker so well. Thanks, Bobby. There's 16 types, but man, there's a part 2 to this because there's 15. I didn't want to go 10 minutes on it, so I kind of broke it up, and there's another 4-minute one. But because I always knew I'm a little different, and I never knew why. And what happens is, like the girl in Alabama, I could read that, and I knew I liked her. I could get that sixth sense that, like, wow, I really like this girl. But she couldn't handle the fact that I could read through her, and I knew she liked me. I knew we were a good connection, but I got too close, and she couldn't handle it. And I could read it. I could feel it, right? It's a feel, like the video. You saw the gambler video I did yesterday from Vegas where the guy doubles down on 18 because he could feel the 3 coming. I could feel the girl. I knew she liked me. There was no question, just like I feel the football games. I knew Cincinnati was a very live dog yesterday, and I knew the under absolutely was good, was the right. It took me 3 seconds to look at the Philly game, go under, and look at the Cincinnati game, going, I can't believe Cincinnati's the dog in this game, and took Cincinnati. And that was it. But that was all a feel, and that's what I mean. But now I understand why, because I have this instinct, and I am psychic, kind of, where I have the intuition that I am doing that. I have it about this. I know this is going. There's not a doubt in my mind. I can feel this is 50,000 and the silver's 2,000. And when I tell it to people, so I can talk to people in the hot tub and they're like, oh, okay. But then I get frustrated when they don't agree with me because I know I'm right. It's not, I guess, it's not an opinion. It's the instinct. And I know after my master's class and after seeing what's happening and watching my guys' videos, that's why I like this Peter Schiff. As soon as I saw him, my instinct was he's an idiot. When I see these other guys, I immediately know they're idiots. And it takes me about 3 seconds to read it. And I can read other people, as it said. So a lot of those traits, I'm like, fuck, that's me. That I crossed them out. And I'm the rarest type of personality. I don't consider myself necessarily an introvert, but I do want to teach and help others, which I think is in the next section. But it's the whole psychic thing that is really strong with me, as I've tried to point out. Now you can kind of see why, which is what I was trying to do there. Yeah, professor teaches well and a lot better than university professor who just read off a PowerPoint. Yeah. Well, that's why, because I have that personality trait and without knowing it, right? So there was a girl, I said, she played softball with my daughter, and she'd look at the bat. Imagine, Bobby, trying to hit pitching, and you're looking at the bat, not the ball. So she keeps looking at her bat, and I go, what are you doing? Because I had the plastic bat that the girls would hit. This is a 6th grader. And I go, what are you doing? What are you looking at? And she's looking at the top of her bat. I happened to catch her eyes when I was holding the rubber bat and she's swinging. And I could see her eyes looking at the bat. I go, what are you doing? How are you going to hit? You got to look at the ball. And then she started hitting. And I tell you, I can't even teach hitting, Bobby. And I was a really good hitter. Softball, I hit like 700 when I played that. I look at the ball, but I never see me hit the ball. The ball's coming. I know it's like right here, and I just nail the hell out of it. And I watched the ball up to about 3 feet away, and then I hit it, and I always hit it. I very rarely struck out. I could read a curveball very well, and I just would crush the ball, but I couldn't explain it. It's just 2-3 feet away, and I would never see this. So here's the ball in the bat. I'd never see that. I would see the ball here, and I'd swing, but I never, like the swing would happen, but I'd never see that. And I could just crush the ball, but I knew instinctively how to look at it. And that's probably what you do when you play baseball. And most baseball players, have that instinct. You were the 4-hitter. I don't know, what was your average, like 320? You just knew how to hit it. You couldn't probably teach it. You couldn't sit there and go, this is how you hit a ball. You keep your eye on the ball, but that's about as, you're never seeing you actually hit the ball. I don't think you could, because you got to release. And I don't think that it happens way too fast that you can actually explain it. But that explains me a lot. And people have a hard time sometimes with me, especially when I'm trying to explain gold and silver. And I know that happens in the hot tub or at other places or at work where people are very delusional about it. And I'll say, get out of stocks. And they take me wrong. They take me more as a bully or more as trying to tell them what to do, not that I know what's going to happen. I'm psychic. I've got the feel. They don't want to. So imagine the guy playing blackjack, James Conn, with the 18, and he's trying to tell people, bet on me, and they're looking at him like he's nuts. Oh, you got 18, I'm not betting on you. And then he hits the 21. That's how I am. Get out of the stock market. Well, what do you know? It's not that I know. I do know. I have that instinct. I have that psychic power of the judgment and the feel that I know what's going to happen. And you can see, don't fuck with me. I told you Cincinnati in the under, and Cincinnati in the under won. That's how I do it. It just is something I do. So that's what I try to tell people. So when I go on an 18-4 run, I do. I don't make it up. I don't lie about it. That's what happens. And I never forget, I ran an ad in the radio about Teaserking. This was years and years ago. I was still married, like 15 years ago. And I still have never forgiven this host. I give him the thing, and I'm red hot. I'm like 22-3 in my locks. And I go, let's do a commercial. So I do a commercial, Teaserking, 23-2 on his locks. And the motherfucker had the nerve to, I'm paying him to do the ad, the radio host. He goes, I hate when people do this and make up their stats. And I'm like, I didn't make it up. That's actually what I did. If you go into my history, you'll see that's what I did. How dare you? I'm paying you and you doubt me. And that's the stuff that pisses me off. And that's the stuff that pisses off this personality type, is when people don't trust you or don't believe you. That's probably the hardest part of my personality, is you don't believe that I picked the games. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, fine. I'm going to prove it. We're walking through every fucking game, and I'm saying, take the under in Philly, Frisco, under wins. Take the dog, Cincinnati, Casey. Cincinnati wins. I don't know how else to do it. I'm walking you game by game going, here's who's going to win. I don't tell you my locks and my picks, how I'm betting them, because I got people who buy, and they might get a little mad if they buy and I'm telling my stuff. So you don't know I'm locking it. Yesterday, both games were the lock, but I didn't say that. I said, you got to buy them because of all the, Nick buys my picks. He'd be a little upset if here's my lock. He'd be like, what the fuck am I buying them for? So even though I'm giving you my picks on the games, you don't know how I'm betting them or which one's the locks, which is really the whole point of betting, is you got to know how much to bet, and you can't just bet it even. My 20% guy, we won yesterday. I did a thing on him. So I get 20% of his bets. I've gotten over $800 this year from him, getting 20% of his winnings. That's all. And we cash almost every week. There's only like 2 or 3 weeks we haven't won. And again, I'm giving him, bet this. I don't even tell him they're my locks. I said, bet this for 300 and this for 400 and this for 200 and this for 100. And the big one wins almost every week. And so he wins that, loses a little one, and we end up cashing almost every week. So that's the proof. He's got my picks. He doesn't really have my picks. He's got the bet I give him, and he goes from there, and then he cashes in and gives me the 20%, and I get paid every Friday like it's a job, and there's no tax. It's beautiful. So, I mean, that's what I do. Mostly the 8-teamers, I usually go 7-1. I can usually feel 5 to 10 picks a week. And then it gets hard with the gray area. So when I hit 11 games, and I showed you that ticket, I felt all 11, right? When I saw the Florida State 7 over Auburn, I immediately said that's going to win. I knew going down to 1 with Florida State that year, that wasn't even a thought. It was take Florida State -1. Then when the line went to 11, I'm like, oh, Auburn did beat Alabama. Maybe I should take, a little bit of Auburn plus 11. But the immediate sign was take the 7 down to 1. It was immediate take Michigan State over UCLA or over Stanford, and to take UCLA, Virginia Tech. Those 3 college bowl games were locks immediately. Just seeing them, knowing the matchup, going, that's it. See, that's when I study, and then by the end of the year, I've got it down to science where I don't even need to really look. I know it. But then it's getting frustrated when these guys are sitting out, and you're like, fuck, how do I make a bet when the guy's sitting out? And that was the problem this year. So next year, hopefully they'll have playoffs, and there'll be 12, 16 teams in the playoffs. Then I know the players are playing. Then we're going to really clean up, because this year I had to be careful with UCLA, USC, Utah, all the big teams that we're making all this money on. The only one that was true was Kansas, because they had nobody going to sit out for the pros. The Kansas-Arkansas was the best lock of the board, and we locked it, and we won it easily. Because Kansas is Kansas, man. They're like Cincinnati. Like, they play kind of shitty in the first half. Then they kind of figure it out, and he hits these long passes like Cincinnati did yesterday with the Burrow pass to Chase. What a fucking play. Why on 4th down are you calling that play? I didn't mind them going for it on 4th down, but I didn't. There's like, why don't you just hit the tight end for the first down and then throw to Chase? Because that play to Chase would have been open every play, because he's basically being double teamed, but I would have kept throwing to Chase anyway. Anyway, so that explains it. So really, you've got to understand people. And I'm very rare, as it's said. I am that intuition and judgment and psychic ability that I have is extremely weird. But when you have it, you kind of don't understand people, because, as it said, you're on a different wavelength. So you're like, why don't you get that? Like, how are you missing that? And that's the difference. So I've gotten very sensitive to make sure I explain it. So when I give Bobby a hard time about, well, maybe you got to explain it differently than to your family, because that's what I would do. And that's why I bring up the softball analogy to the girl who was looking at the bat instead of the ball. Bobby needs a different way to explain it to his family. Now, maybe Bobby I don't get along with my family because I'm on a different wavelength. They don't get my judgment, and I get too frustrated with them because I keep saying, what the fuck are you doing? I'll tell them about inflation or gold and silver, and they laugh at me, and I don't like that. So I get frustrated. So I just say, fuck you. I'm not going to sit here and take that crap. Who are you? So I do not get along with my mom or my brother. My dad's dead, unfortunately. We did sports together. So we'd watch football together, played poker together. So when I was young, they'd have a Friday night poker game, and the guys would come, and I'd be analyzing the player and the game. And that's really how I learned poker, was watching them, watching the bet, and kind of figuring, I knew anytime anybody had a good hand or bad hand, they'd start betting. Their eyes might light up. It was very obvious to me. And that time I went to Atlantic City with my dad and my dad's friend. My dad's friend was a big crap player. And we're walking by a crap table, and I go, oh, that guy's going to 7 out. Just saying it, not to anybody. And the guy 7'd out, and the guy comes up to me, how did you know? And I'm like, I just knew. I just had a feel that this guy is not going to make money at the craps table. And it blew his mind. And I was like, well, I knew that was going to happen. I know so much shit's going to happen, especially in poker. You don't want to fuck with me at poker, because I'll kill you. I just get it, and I get the players, so I know what's going on. Put it this way: I'm in a hand at a very aggressive table. Bet, raise. So I'm folding. So I get a hand, I get pocket aces, and I'm the first to act. And I know this is an explosive table. So I probably should bet 20 or 30, but I check because I'm going to come over. My plan was these idiots down there are going to raise it up, and then I'm going to go all in on them because I know I got aces. I can't be losing. And nobody raised. And it was unbelievable. There's 10 people who have been raising their ass off for the last hour. Check, check, check. And the flop comes 2 twos and an 8. And I get some action. I know I'm fucked because there's 10 people in. Somebody's got the 2. So I have to fold. And I show my friend, I go, look, I got aces. And she's like, yeah, what are you going to do? There's a pair of 2s. Somebody hit 3 2s. I'm fucked. So I fold, and then the guy had 3 2s. But the ironic part is the next card was an ace. So I would have won with a full house, aces full of 2s, and killed everybody. But because I didn't pre-flop raise and I never got the action that I expected, I had to fold the aces. And he did have 3 2, so I was losing. I got the miracle. But that was kind of what it was, is I had to fold the ace. So I was smart enough to fold the aces based on the 2s flopping and the betting. I knew somebody had 3 2, so I got out, where most people would have played their aces. Now it was, was it that expensive? It was probably $100 to stay in, and then the ace comes on the turn. I didn't feel that, but it did happen. I probably did feel it, but I was like, I got to get out. And I would have won $1,000 on the hand because the 2s went all in and with trips, and then somebody else called. There's I think 3 people called, and I would have had the nuts with the aces full. But that's what happens. But where was the raising? But I could feel he hit 3 2s, which he did. So that's how you play it. So you don't want to fuck with me at poker. But if you price me out, I will fold. So if you bet $100 and I really don't have much, or I have a draw, then it comes, do I feel the flush coming or the straight? And if I don't, I fold it. If I do, I will call once in a while. Not a lot, but I will. But that's how you play somebody like me, is you make it expensive. I want to see flops and then see the turn, and then I kill you. Because when I raise you, you don't know I raise. So on another hand, I have a pair of, 7s or whatever. Guy's got ace king. He bets. I call. I hit my set on the flop comes like ace king 7. So he's got like aces and kings or something. I got a set of 7s. I make a small bet. He comes over the top. He goes all in. I snap call him. I got a set. He's got aces and kings. I win. The ace and king never came, but he had no idea I had a set because I didn't check raise him. I bet $20 like I hit the ace, and that's where you really get to a different point in poker, is letting the guy think he knows what you have, or the fake tells. If you know everybody's looking at you for a tell, you give a fake tell because they're looking at you for the tell. And that's how you avoid it. But the feel, when I called cards, as I told you yesterday, so I got 4 diamonds, and give me the ace, or maybe I have the ace of diamonds. I said, just give me okay, 6 of diamonds. And I close my eyes and I picture the card, and I look and it hits. Well, nobody knows that I needed the diamond, and then I crush everybody. But how do you deal with that? So I fuck up a lot of people because of the feel, or I know the flush is coming, so I stay in, or I'll hear things. I'll just sense things, and I go, oh, queen's coming. I'm going to stay in, and the queen will come, or the diamond will come, or the flush, or I need a straight. But I mean, this has happened where I got 4, 5, 6, 7, but there's 2 diamonds on board, and I know guys are on diamond draw, so I'll go, okay, I need the 8, but make it the black 8, and then the 8 of spades will hit instead of the flush coming, the 8 of spades hits, and then I go all in. They stay in because of the draw. I've already made the straight, and then so I've done all sorts of shit that just fucks people up at the poker table. you do not want to play me because I have the feel and the intuition and the basic instinct, as we'll call it. But I have the psychic ability to feel when I'm going to get it, when I'm not, and it's more often than not just amazing how that works. But now you can see why, based on that personality. Now, if you go in there, there's 16 personalities. You're probably going to be one of them. But I am extremely rare, and I know I'm extremely rare, and I know I've got like I go to my own drummer, my own beat. I definitely, like the Alabama girl, I could feel her. I know she loved me. I knew I loved her, but she, oh, I'm married, or I don't even like football. Well, we talked about Cincinnati going to the Super Bowl, and we had a 5-minute talk on that. So what are you talking about? And that's why I kind of played, because I already knew what the answers were going to be, because I could feel it. But the women get scared when you get a little bit too strong. When you feel it, it's a very strong power. So if you get too aggressive with the girl, they can't handle it. They're not strong enough to handle that emotion. So that's what frustrates me a lot too. So again, the girls I'm with it's not as psychic as the others. But they can sense that I'm a little different, and I'm very honest and very smart. So they get that from me. So they like me, especially the Russian ones. They like smart guys. So that's that. Buy your silver. It's going up. All these countries are getting off of the they're getting off the dollar. So read all the signs, right? If they get off the dollar, if nobody wants it, what's the value? And he even says in his little thing here, he says even JP Morgan can try. He says there's nothing they can do. They're exposed. They're going to get their ass kicked too. So please watch this video. It's very enlightening to what we talk about. But that's what it is. So please be careful with that. Should I play the second half of my personality? Do you guys care? I don't want to bore you guys, but see, I'm sensitive in that area. Let's play part 2.
Intimacy. Most INFJs can seem reserved or shy in the presence of people they don't know well. They are often perceived as mysterious or private, but actually they are quite relational. It can just take a little bit of time for them to open up to others and show their true selves.
I'll be right with you, buddy.
INFJs crave authentic connections.
This is another like 4 minutes.
Deeper level. And because of their ability to empathize and have meaningful conversations, they establish strong emotional bonds with the people they trust. Number 8. True introverted nature. Although INFJs are easy to socialize with, they are introverted individuals. They know how to efficiently blend into social settings, but they may also feel totally at peace with a rather small circle of friends who are trustworthy and deserving of their love. They also need their individual alone time to relax and recharge.
Boy, I need that.
Number 9. Sensitive to conflict. Conflict tends to send INFJ personality types into a state of stress. They strive to create harmonious relationships with the people close to them, and they desire for those people to help maintain the harmony in the relationship. When a conflict arises, it can physically disrupt their seemingly constant optimistic nature. Focused. Willpower is a very important aspect of this personality type. INFJs will often do whatever they can to move themselves closer to their personal goals. For example, if they're in a relationship that seems to be going nowhere, or they are employed somewhere they don't like or don't see a future in, they will break off the relationship or quit their job.
Yeah, it's like Alabama.
Furthermore, INFJs are also very critical of past circumstances, and they tend to remember the bad experiences. To avoid the negative feelings that often accompany these flashbacks, they typically prefer to live a life focused on the future. Number 11. Gravitate toward people who need help. An INFJ is able to see the good in other people. However, they often fall victim to the broken wing theory, as they believe they can rescue others. They often find themselves gravitating toward people who need help.
That's my Ukrainian
They
friend.
compassionately help and heal others. This can be rewarding for INFJ personality types, but if boundaries get overstepped, it can also feel very stressful or frustrating. Number 12, intellectual thinker. INFJs often find themselves thinking very deeply about their purpose, meaning, and what makes everything in their lives the way they are. They enjoy music, reading, and philosophical or spiritual matters because of their love for learning new things and further expanding their understanding of the world. Naturally, because of their need gifted in language. Due to their introverted nature, INFJs typically spend their alone time engaging in their personal hobbies. Being so insightful provides for a vast expanse of creativity and is often accompanied by great understanding of language. However, INFJs tend to prefer writing over speaking because writing is an outlet that allows them to express their creative thoughts or ideas without as many barriers. Conversations with others can easily fall short or become negative when talking about such opinionated matters, so they avoid talking a lot, unless it's necessary. Writing provides a sense of work best alone or in small groups. Although INFJs get along very well with others, they often do their best work when they work alone, without any interference
Absolutely.
from others, science, research, or technology. Number 15, focused on what's right. Due to their loving and healing nature, INFJs often feel compelled to protect others. They may stand up to bullies on another person's behalf, or focus on helping somebody who is undergoing a difficult situation in life. If they choose a career where helping others isn't necessarily involved, they will likely donate money or find time to volunteer for a charity. INFJ personality types also find themselves with a fear of being a bad person, which motivates them to do what they believe is right. The INFJs have both strengths and weaknesses, but understanding their characteristics can help others get along with them better. Of course, some of these traits are things many people can identify with, so the best way to determine your personality type is to take a test developed.
So, boy, does that nail me. I'll tell you. What I like to do, right? You can see it here. I'm trying to help you. Very honest, do what's right. The whole thing. It's just like check. Yep, that's me. But nobody understands it. Most people aren't like that, so they can't. They always think there's a reason. Like, okay, what is it? What do you really want? Or you're nice to a girl. Oh, you just want to have sex with me. No, you're just being nice, but they don't. Most people, it's way over their heads. Bobby, the Fed is set to talk this Wednesday. Oh, big deal. Jerome Powell, what's he going to say? Oh, the inflation's coming down and the recession. We're not in a recession yet, even though we've been in one for a year. And he's going to raise rates 0.25%. So there you go. I just did a Powell for you. They're going to keep raising rates until they blow up the system. That's the point. That's what our man will tell you in that 8-minute video that I showed you to watch. They're going to raise it to blow it up. That's their objective. They want to blow up the dollar and basically replace it. So they're blowing up the whole world, which is the Nazi view, right? So all the countries are dependent on the U.S., so we're going to blow up the U.S. When the U.S. blows up, the euro, the yen, and everything blows up with it because they're all attached to us. Everything, if you look at the FX, it's all priced in dollars, right? The yen, the euro. And he keeps swearing the euro is going to blow up because it's not really a country. Like it's the U.S. dollar, so it's the U.S. and it's the British pound. But in the euro, there is no country. It's the European Union, but it's not Germany or France or Spain. So it's really nothing. It's just, you're not affecting your country. Even though Germany kind of runs the euro, how Hitler-like. What's the name of that video again, Professor? It's the Bobby video. How to Bet by Bobby Bonilla. All right, either one of these. You can go to either one of those. It's basically the same. You can see it's the same amount of time. It's just one's on smart money, one's on Investeria. So it doesn't just go to smart money and you'll pick this up. And it's 8 hours ago, so it's current, but I think it's a short. So if I did a short on this, I would, if I did a short on one video that I did 2 weeks ago, it would post as now, even though my video happened, 2-3 weeks ago. Anyway, so that's what you have. And that's what you want to watch. But he's going to tell you to buy silver. He's going to tell you that these countries are off the dollar and JP Morgan's fucked just like everybody else, because we all know who's the price fixers, JP Morgan, who's the monopoly. And then 107, this is very critical also. So these are the two guys. The rest of them, fuck them. And then Bill Fleming going through the college football of the 70s was a very good video. Cool. I'm going to watch those later. I'm sure they'll be, well, see, this is where my instinct and logic take over. Is I don't even watch Peter Schiff because he talks but doesn't say anything. Just like that long-haired guy, just like Rick Rule, just like the bald-haired lawyer or the balding lawyer. I don't listen to any. As soon as I see them, I just click off of them because they're fucking idiots. I only listen to my two guys now, because I'm sure that none of these other idiots know what they're talking about. And they just are wasting my instinct is you're wasting my time. So I don't want to even waste my time listening to you. Because I like, as it said, I like to work individually and learn. And I like to learn. So if I'm going to watch something and I'm not going to learn, and it's going to frustrate me because these idiots are still talking about paper gold, I get frustrated, so I don't want to listen to him. So that's part of what the personality I am. Peter Schiff talks, he talks paper gold. That's the problem. He doesn't even understand it, right? So he'll say, oh, gold's going to go up. And as soon as you hear that, and Mike Maloney, they start talking paper gold. Well, look what gold did in 2008, so it's going to do this. No, it's not, because that's what paper gold did. You're not even understanding that it's now physical gold is what you need to talk about. And there is no physical gold before that you could go and say, look what the physical gold did in 2008 versus what's physical gold doing now. It's never been a physical gold market. It's always been a paper derivative, bullshit, fake market. So it's like watching the Kansas City fake game over and over and over, and then saying, well, in the Kansas City fixed game, this is what happened. Yeah, is this game fixed now? Is the Super Bowl fixed? Then Kansas City will win it. And that's what you have. So these idiots talk about what happened in 2008 to the paper money, saying, well, this is what happens. Well, goody, goody, goody. Unless you're buying derivatives, nobody gives a fuck because nobody cares about the paper, especially now that Russia's coming out with physical gold. And the BRICS countries are physical gold and gold standard, which wasn't around in 2008. Once we understand that, now we understand that the prices you're giving me in 2008 are bullshit, because we can understand they were all priced in derivatives paper. And does this look like fucking paper? I don't think this and this look alike. Do you? So therefore, that's zero. So why are we talking about it? Why are you doing a video on this and not this, and not saying, hey, they're coming out with the gold, with the physical gold price, which we've never had before, and it's certainly a lot higher than $24 for silver, which is why I say 2,000. Just the fact that that's pricing it in U.S. dollars, which it won't be, because U.S. dollars will be gone. You don't get it. There will not be a normal U.S. dollar. They'll come out with a new one. And if you have gold and silver, you're going to be eating and sleeping and living okay. And if you don't, you're fucked. You're going to be living on the street and can't afford food, back to soup kitchens or whatever the hell they had in the 1929-30 with the soup kitchens, and everybody out of work and everybody selling their house, living out of boxes. So I'm trying to prevent that from you. I'm trying to do what my personality says I do, which is protect, stand up to the bully, which is J.P. Morgan and Bernie Madoff in that. I was going to do a Twitter yesterday that said we've been Bernie Madoff. Cincinnati got Madoff is what I was going to say. But I just said it was the worst fixed game. It was such an obvious fixed game. It's ridiculous. The refereeing. And what killed me was every time Cincinnati would have the ball and they do a 7-yard run, they'd be a 5-yard run. Every fucking time. It was like the guy would get to the line. He'd get to the 40-yard line, right on the line, and it'd be marked a yard or two short. And you're like, what the fuck? And every time it was like, it was a joke. It was like, okay, this is ridiculous. Every time I'm not getting the spot I should. And that's, that costs you 10 yards on your drive. You're at the 40. You should have been at the 30. Fortunately, we got Burrow, and he said, fuck this, and he hit Chase, and it didn't matter. But I knew the game would get tight, even though it was 13-3. That's what KC – in my mind, KC came out like Dallas did against Frisco. They came out all emotional. And it was field goal, and it was 13-3, and then it goes 13-6. And I said, I got them. The Kansas City's going to be flat in the second. And pretty much they were a lot. The offense wasn't doing anything. Burrow had 2 touchdowns. So it really wasn't it was definitely Cincinnati had control in the second half because Cincinnati played it like a college game, or Kansas City played it like a college game where they just sat there and they got all emotional, and then third quarter flat, fourth quarter flat, and there's no way that Mahomes is injured because he would not have been able to walk if he really had a high ankle sprain in 15-degree weather after halftime. You're not walking. It's going to be hurting you. Don't give me, the pain tolerance bullshit. You can't walk on a broken leg, no matter how much pain tolerance you have. What a fucking bunch of liars these guys are. It really makes you sick. Well, it's like Peter Schiff, right? He lies about his thing, and there's Rick Rule lie. Rick Rule should be in jail for manipulating stocks and silver and gold and making you sell it because you think you have physical when you don't. And that lawyer who was bald, who worked for the government, should be in jail for also lying and, telling you to buy gold that's not physical. Anybody that tells you to buy an ETF and you think you have physical gold should go to jail because they're just fucking lying to you, and it bothers me. Again, now you understand why with my personality types. I can't believe that KC has opened up as dogs against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Why, Bobby? That way they can fix it easier. Well, after watching the game, Philadelphia should probably be a 10-point favorite. And if the game's normally rough, they're going to kill them because but you'll watch. Philly will get holding call. They'll run for 20 yards. It's a holding call. And then Tony Romo will say, yeah, he definitely, you can see where he held so it's holding. Give me a fucking break. You're a quarterback in the league, and you wouldn't be bitching about that? Come on. See, that's what I don't like about Aikman and Collinsworth and Romo. They're not being honest, and it really bothers me, and I know they're not being honest, and it really makes it frustrating and hard to watch because I don't like people like that. I like honest people. I like an honest poker game, an honest football game, and when you start making it dishonest, especially gold and silver, I don't like that it's dishonest. And I'm waiting for the honesty to come out. And if it's the Russians who have to make gold and silver go to their real price, so be it. I don't care as long as it's honest. I don't like what Putin's doing to my girlfriend in the Ukraine, putting ballistic missiles in her backyard. What the fuck is that? So I don't like that. But I don't know. With the Israelis now involved, this is going to get really interesting because they're actually fighting them. And They're the ones who I believe did 9/11 was the Israelis. I believe they were responsible and they stole the gold. That's who I believe actually did it. I read something about that because it wasn't, they just blamed bin Laden, but he had nothing to do with it. You think he could actually derive a 9/11? And by the way, the F-16s that were supposed to be protecting New York, they're on vacation that day. I love that one. Where's the fucking planes? Where's our F-14s or F-16s, whatever? Where's Tom Cruise? You think Romo was better than Dak? No. Romo sucked. Romo was a bigger choke than Dak. They're both chokes. Neither of them were any good. You have Staubach, and then you have Aikman was okay. He was a choke. Nobody was in Montana's class. You got Montana, and then you had Staubach, and then you had maybe Aikman. Dax and the Romos are terrible. But I would not put Mahomes in Montana's class. Sorry. Montana's much better. Brady's a little bit under Montana just because they didn't play any talent. And he lost to the Giants twice. Montana would never have lost to the Giants twice. That's the black eye for Brady. So he beat wonderful teams like Carolina, Philadelphia. Give me a fucking break. Okay, you beat Seattle. That was a good win. And that was about it. And you lost to Philly the second time and that. But no. The way it's going, Mahomes is becoming the GOAT, Professor. There's certainly – I thought it was Trevor Lawrence, Bobby. Wasn't he the GOAT, Trevor Lawrence? He threw 4 interceptions, but he threw 4 touchdown passes, so that makes up the 4 interceptions, which was what these idiots want to make Trevor the golden boy. Brady is passing the torch to my boy Mahomes. I will see. I think it's Burrow is better than Mahomes, but I know you like your Mahomes. He's good. He's a good quarterback, although he's a faker. He's not really injured, and he's trying to imply he is, which pisses me off. Again, can't you be honest? You're really injured, and you ran that last play, and then you tried to run down the sidelines, and then you took a dive, and then you got right up. Like, really? This is what I hate's the ref calling the penalty, deciding the game on a dive. He didn't, he touched his back is not a personal foul. You can't say it's a personal foul because the guy dove face first. He dives head first out of bounds is not a personal foul. It's a dive. That's what he took. He clearly dove. He touched his back is not a roughing or roughness. He didn't give him a big hit out of bounds. He touched him slowing down. And even if he does, you can hit out of bounds. I see that happen believe me, it happened. I'm sure Kansas City did that to Cincinnati all game, and it was never called. The guy kept falling all his weight on Burrow. It was never called. That was clearly landing on him is clearly a personal foul. Anyway, so that's what that is. So anyway, it's interesting the personality traits. I was going through my liked videos Saturday because there was nothing on. There was no football. And I came to that one, and I had done it a year or two ago. And I watched it, and I go, fuck, that is me to a T about on everything, except for the one on I'd rather write than read. I guess doing my stats, I'd rather do the stats. But when I'm in the pool, I'm talking up a pretty good game, figuring, okay, Gold's going to do this, and I got to do that, and this and that. That would be my only differences. And when I'm in the pool, I am talking, but I do like to talk to people. And most people feel at ease. It's when I try to talk them into gold that they get a little bit out of sorts because they're too stupid to understand it. They're too stupid. I think what my problem is, they're too stupid to listen to me. And because I'm honest and I'm trying to tell them the truth, it bothers me that they're not listening. And then I say, "Oh, you're disrespecting me because you think I'm not telling you the truth." And I think that's why I get upset at a lot of the people at the club or at poker or wherever is I'm very, very honest. So when I'm telling you gold's going to go up, it's going to go up. I believe it. And then I have to prove it to you. As long as it's not the idiot at the casino who is ignoring the professor. Well, same thing. What did I do? I got up and I just left. I said, "Fuck you," and said goodbye. See, but I'm smart enough and strong enough to not waste my time and not to really let them get to me. I just got up and left. I didn't let them bother me. But see, what I see at poker and at the club, people don't like people that are smarter than them. People like to be the smartest guy. And when somebody like me comes up, they're intimidated because I'm smarter than them. Bobby, we all appreciate the professor here. Well, I know that. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, I appreciate too. But even that, I'm like, how do I not have more customers? The way I pick games, it blows my mind that I should have 10,000 people buying my picks every week. And I'd make them all, we'd break the casino. And I don't, and I scratch my head. And now, yeah, I give picks out here. Maybe people just want that. I'll get emails. I've been following you for 5 years, and you've made me over $50,000. And I'm like, well, shouldn't you tip me? Or why aren't you buying my picks? Like, because you don't know how to bet me based on what I say. You only know the game I pick. So it's really funny, but last year I got tips. I don't even know who I never heard of these people. Here's $200. I go, like, what did you buy? And they don't even answer. It's a tip. It's like, I want to give you a tip. You made me 5,000. Here's $200. Now I appreciate the tips, but it's weird. But the guys, I never heard the guy buy from me before. So all of a sudden I'm getting a tip. I like it. But no, I appreciate that, Bobby. And that's our connection. See, I trust you. So that's the difference. If Brady got on here or Bonds, I don't know. I'd have to prove it to him. Brady couldn't handle me because he wants to be the smartest guy in the room. Or LeBron, he would need to be the smartest guy in the room. And me and him wouldn't get along together because you've got to listen to me and go, yeah, he makes sense. But if you know more than I do, or you think you know more than I do, it'd be very hard for you to listen to me. And that's what happens a lot. When we get these weirdos that come on, they like, what the fuck are they talking about? But I think that's what happens at the club. The people don't know how to take me. And when I tell them that, they get scared, I guess. And they go, oh, no, I'm going to stay in money. Or the people in Toyota who I kept saying, get out of the stocks, would ignore me because they know more than me. They know that if the stock drops, it's going to go up because they think it's the same thing that happened in 08. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm in the mood for some General Chow. There you go, Bobby. Well, I'll call it in for you. Maybe they delivered it to Florida, although they didn't deliver it to Alabama. But, yeah, I had some Saturday. And it's good now is with my diet. I eat half Saturday and the other half Sunday. So it's actually 2 meals for me. But theoretically, I used to eat the whole thing. Now, because of the diet, I eat some and then put it in the fridge. And then Sunday, I warm it up after the show or to watch. Like when I got home from the football yesterday from the pool, I finished the General Chow and then I made my roast and I had a couple of that. And I got really hungry. And then so today I'm going to have some more roast and a salad, and then I got my eggs. So I don't know what to do because I'll have the roast, and then I don't really want the eggs for dinner. It's a breakfast food. It's my 12 o'clock food, but not at dinner time. I need something more. So I keep getting the rotisserie chicken, which is fine, and then I keep eating that in the salad. But sometimes I need to cook my vegetables versus salading them. Let's see. So anyway, I will be off for Europe again soon. I want to make sure my Social Security hits. And once I know that's hitting and everything's fine and I'm getting the money in, then I got to take Jenna on maybe a 2-week vacation. And she needs it. She's getting bombed. I mean, that's just, it's just, I don't even know how you can comprehend it. The King Pao chicken, Kung Pao, I think I tried that once and I really didn't like it. And the problem is, let's say you have a hot blonde girlfriend let's say in New York, right? You played on the Mets, you got this one girl. So when you go to New York, you could meet another girl or you can meet your hot blonde that you really like. So you keep going back to your hot blonde. Why would I go to the other hot brunette where I don't know, or I like her okay, but I really like the hot blonde? So that's General Chow for me. I know what I like in the General Chow. I know I like it. I know it tastes good, and I'm very happy with it. I could get the hot brunette, but it might not be as good as the hot blonde. So I just assume get the hot blonde every time. Although once in a while, like for Christmas, I got 2 meals. I got the hot blonde and I got the hot brunette. The other one's Hunan chicken or whatever, and that's what I got. It was very good, but General Chow's a lot of chicken, which is what I want. And so that's why I get it. So the Kung Pao is the hot brunette. Maybe. I don't know if I even like Kung Pao. I didn't, I think I got it once to try it and I didn't like it. So that's the problem with Kung Pao. But I do like the Szechuan chicken or Hunan chicken, whatever the fuck it is, and my General Chow. So what I'll do is I'll get sweet and sour chicken once in a while, and then I'll mix it together. So I get my General Chow with the other, and one's a Saturday, one's a Sunday. So if it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, where there's the Thanksgiving and then the day after or that weekend where the problem is it's a half hour away, so I don't want to drive there twice. So when I drive there once and I get the 2 meals, then I take it home. I don't mind eating it the next day. Just nuke it and it's fine. So that's why I do what I do. But again, that intuition is, once I find something that's good, I tend to go to it. But I can feel it. And, that's the problem. I should never have married my first wife because I never really got that feel that I got from the Alabama girl. Unfortunately, the Alabama girl's out of her fucking mind. But I like the feel I get from my Ukrainian and Russian girls. It's a nice feeling. So we'll see what happens with them. What else? My other one that's pregnant, she's due March. Her last day of work's tomorrow, well, the 1st, and then, I tell her, I said, walk when you're giving birth from what happened with my experiences. Go walk, walk around the hospital. It'll, you get the 10. She's having it natural. I said, get the epidural for sure. It's like getting your wisdom teeth. It's like getting a cavity drilled. Or it's the last thing you want to do is feel it. So get the numbing. So I told her that. I said, walk around will help it go quicker. And it'll come out. Believe it or not, it'll come out. That's got to be the most petrifying thing for a woman. You got this 10-pound turkey in you, and you're like, how do I get this out of me? But it comes out, and women have multiple kids. So they have short memories of I'll never do this again turns into, let's have another kid. So anyway, that's the difference. So anyway, buy your gold and silver. If you meet people like me, now you maybe have a better understanding of me. I think it was important that you understand as a handicapper and as a teacher what I'm really trying to do, which is really trying to beat up the bully for you. And the bully's the Federal Reserve, or the bully's money. So I'm trying to teach you this is bad, this is good. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. That's my personality. That's why I do this. There's no reward. The reward's Bobby not going broke from the thing. Bobby doesn't pay me a nickel for the help, but that's why I do it. So if I can prevent somebody from going broke holding on to dollars, that's my reward. If they're smart enough to then buy gold and silver with it, they also get the reward of being able to survive. That's why I do it. And when I do get frustrated when you hear me talk, but you can't figure out why I'm telling you this. I think that's the biggest problem at the pool or the club or wherever at work is they don't understand why I'm telling. They don't try to figure out why is he telling me? How does he know? So their thought is, well, he doesn't know, and then I'm scaring people. Well, what do you mean? How do I know? I explain it to you pretty fucking good how I know, and why would I talk about it? I don't talk about, brain surgery because I don't know anything about it. I talk about eating because I do know something about fasting and staying away from sugar, but I can't sit there and tell you about law or things like that I don't know. But I sure shit can talk to you about stocks and gold and inflation and economics because that's what I got a master's in. But it's to help you. So you shouldn't. So what I think this is the problem with people. They don't ask, why is he telling me and how does he know? They just go, I don't want to hear it. I want to bury my head in the sand. And then when the shit hits the fan, I can't believe nobody told me. Well, we tried to tell you, but if you don't listen, then yes, it seems like nobody tried to tell you. But if people try to help you and you don't take the help, and then the road's out, you're gonna there's no bridge. Oh, I won't listen to you, and then you get there and there's no bridge. What are you gonna say? Oh, nobody told me. No, we did tell you. You didn't listen, and that's I think what happens. Too much people don't know how to analyze. I guess they're just not trained how to think and how to try to understand what's going on. They don't try. They don't say, why is he talking to me? Why is he telling me this? How does he know? They're just, I don't want to hear it. I'm fine. I'm in dollars. I know dollars have always been good. I can't read variables to know, Mahomes is out, so I'm not going to bet on them. Or whoever, Purdy got hurt. That's why Philadelphia won. They just see Philadelphia winning. Look how good they looked. Not that Purdy got hurt in the game. Or the guy who runs and gets shoved into the end zone. They go, what a great run. What the fuck did he do? These 5 guys pushed him into the end zone. It's what are you talking about? So anyway, it's tough. It's tough watching the game because they, did he get it? Did he catch the ball? Oh, did it hit the ground? Meanwhile, the Philadelphia game, he didn't catch it and they didn't review it. And then it wasn't a catch. And you're like, what the fuck are you not stopping the game for? Why aren't you consistent? Why are you cheating San Francisco on that early play on a 4th down that if they didn't get, it's Frisco's ball. It's a whole different game. You take 7 off. Maybe Purdy doesn't get hurt. And then, because maybe you're not in the same system, so everything changes. Anyway, so that's the part that I have trouble with is when people don't believe I'm telling them to help them. And they get like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then as the video said, then I don't give a fuck about you. So I didn't say, well, fuck you. You didn't listen to me. And then that's why it's like, you have a very small group of friends that you can trust, and the rest of them, you tell them to go fuck off. Because if you don't trust me and don't listen to me, then I got no time for you because you're not part of my solution. So that's part of what happens. So you got to understand that about people. If they are trying to help you, you got to ask why. And like it said, there's very few of me. I'm telling you, there's maybe 10 people that can pick football games like me. And now I think you understand why, is because I have that intuition and the psychic that most people don't. And I know how to look at a game where I'm looking at the defense and they're not even looking at the defense. They're looking, it's Mahomes. They're going to score a lot. No, not against Philly's defense. They're not. If we look at that, they're fucking they're going to be lucky to get 10 points in the game. Philly should run it down their throats. And, I'm getting close to like 28-10 Philadelphia here. Do I play the over? Not against, again, we don't play the over against the Niners, and we don't play the over against Cincinnati, and we don't play the over in, again, we got Philadelphia, who's a 19. We don't play the over in those games. Philly, the Giants was a 45. Philly yesterday was a 38. They're over under. Philly was a 48 in the first game, and Philly was 46 yesterday. That's like giving Georgia those numbers. So I don't know. I got a 48-49. I don't see how this game is not going to get 48-40. Phillies are going to run it to keep the ball away from Mahomes. If Mahomes, we know he's not really hurt. He's just faking it. Couldn't find anybody open against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati never blitzed them. Philly's going to blitz them, or Philly gets all these sacks anyway. So just look out. They're going to kill them. Anyway, that's about it. It was a later show. I had a 1:00 appointment, so I got on at little after 2. And anyway, so that's yesterday. So we know that KC didn't deserve it. It was fixed. Philly with Purdy out, so Philly, KC, good game. Philly will kill them. In my mind, their defense is too strong, and they're going to run down their throat. And KC does not have a good defense. So, again, you're looking to play the best defense in this game, not the best offense. But it'll be Philly's offense against KC's defense will be the determining factor in the game. That goes to Philly's offense. And we got KC's defense shutting down Mahomes. Look what Cincinnati did. They held them down. I'll be back tomorrow. Had a meeting today. Tomorrow shouldn't be anything. Should be normal. I'll be on around noon or so, and that'll be it. It's the 31st, and so we're getting warmer. We're getting to February, and then March is my birthday, and by March we usually. I know I've had 70-degree weathers on my birthday because it's your birthday, and I played golf March 7th. And I'd say to myself, wow, it's 70 degrees on my birthday. So I've always, so it's something you realize. So we're just about done with winter, and soon we'll get some warm weather. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and please ask questions like Bobby does. And then, so maybe you got a better understanding of me. I think I'll do those videos separately. So if you just want to see those and maybe run a gold video, then you can, okay, this is a video. This is the class. I mean, because, there's movies in class. I've always liked that. It's a good class when you got movies and you're not being lectured. So I don't try to make this a lecture. I think that helps too. Plus I bring in real world stuff and I say what everybody thinks. Mahomes took a dive, but nobody wants to say it. They all want to say, oh, he's Mahomes. He didn't take a dive. Watch that gold one you did a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, there you go. Watch that one. And go pick up. Are you going to buy this in silver, Bobby? It's a very nice Austrian Philharmonic, it's called. So you can add that to your collection. Buy 20 of those. And then if you need to go to Austria or Switzerland, you got the silver to spend there. All right, everybody. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. It'll be on by 12. Feel good. Take care. And have a great day. www.teaserking.com. All we got left is the Super Bowl. So I'll just give you the pick here. Yesterday's lock was Fisco Philly under, which won, and Cincinnati in 7.5, which again won. So really the only loser I had was Buffalo in a fixed game against Miami, and I had Tampa. Then I nail everything else, and then I nailed yesterday. So I'm pretty good in the playoffs. again, I thought Brady would play better. And then what's Buffalo giving up 31 to Skylar Thompson? Like, really? That's Buffalo. I guess they just suck. All right, everybody. Have a great day. www.teaserking.com. You get my email if you want to discuss things. All right. Take care, everybody.